Right, today is the 11th of the 11th, 2013. I'm the artist taxi driver. And this, my friends, is the BBC News. You know, today's the day. They call it Armistice Day. They call it this day when people, through their silence, stand up for the fallen, for the brave soldiers, the people that stood for freedom, for democracy, that gave us everything that we have today, that fought in 2 world wars, that are now fighting in wars for corporations, wars for businesses, wars that go under the umbrella of the collective good, the collective consciousness of globalization, of nationalism, of being British, of being part of the world, but in reality is going to places to steal their resources, to steal to kill the local populations, to decimate their lands, to leave them with sectarian violence and gifts of depleted uranium like in Iraq. And you have people like Tony Blair and Alistair Campbell standing at the cenotaph, and you've got people like David Cameron who was out selling arms to the world, to despots, to nefarious leaders, and letting them use them on their own people, to suppress, to use violence, to torture, to have death. This is the war machine, my friends. This is the war machine. This is about banks. This is about oil and minerals and resources. This is about the selling of arms. The selling of arms. And they use it in the glorification of this massive, it's almost like a celebration of war. Because these aren't wars of freedom that they're fighting. These aren't wars in Afghanistan, nation building. They haven't built a hospital there. Not the US, the UK, NATO. No one's done anything for the people of Afghanistan. They go there and they say, we want to rid you of these terrorists. We have a global war on terror, and we need to keep a check on everybody in the world to make sure that you're not against us, and we need soldiers to do that, and we need your children to do that, and we need you to understand. I pulled up in Leeds yesterday, and they was just like, there was masses of them walking across a zebra crossing in their flak jackets. There was like, fuck, don't do it. Don't make this video. See, you upset people. If you talk about these things, people get upset. But they were children walking across in front of my eyes. It was endless. There was hundreds of them going into the church, and the bells were tolling. The bells were tolling. You know, I see last year, I see like BP sponsoring like Soldiers Without Legs rowing in a canoe, and they don't even understand what BP? Why would, what BP sponsoring? They're out in the middle of Iraq in the Rumalia oil field, the largest fucking oil field in the world, pumping out oil, and they want to thank you for keeping Basra safe. You know, I don't think you should not understand that people are being used, people are being exploited emotionally, so that businesses, corporations, governments, bankers, the elite, energy companies, they're all in it. There is no difference between the government, the energy companies, the civil service. They sit down and they write a policy. They are doing that. The global economy depends on it. The global economy is being run by the war machine. If you take it away, what we have now would collapse. would absolutely collapse. We would have to restructure everything. If you took the war machine away, the world would be a better place. Like financially. I mean, we should be making things that are good. We should be creating jobs that are good jobs. That, you know, we should be making houses. We should have jobs that are creative, that give something back. Not weapons, not war. We shouldn't be running a society built on that. And they say, yeah, but they're fighting for peace. Against who? Who is doing it? Who's antagonizing who? Where is the terrorism? Define terrorism. What about imperialism? What about corporatism? What about this lust for people's resources? This lust for oil, this drive for gold, for diamonds, for copper, at any expense. At the expense of dead babies, of dead children. Now who's being emotive? You shouldn't talk about these things. Because if you do, then you're wrong. You should have more respect. You should understand that people have died. That people are dying. That in the First World War, it was hate. What the hell was he doing? Where was the massacre of people? What was that even about? And even the soldiers in the charge of the Light Brigade, the ones that were left, they wasn't talked about in the last, in the Tennyson poem, because they were left destitute on the streets, and they had to go to another poet to ask them, I think it was Kipling, to ask them to write an extra verse, because they were left destitute. You know, and they talk about the joining the army being good for learning and apprenticeships, and listening to a guy saying, look, after you leave the army, you can go out and you can use your skills and do all those things. They don't talk about like the trauma, the shell shock, what that even does to your soul, to being. I have no experience of it. What do I know? I'm going to interview a soldier tomorrow. I'm going to talk to him, Captain Simon Mann, and ask him some questions about everything. What's it like to be a soldier? Why do you do it? Why would you want to do it? What's the connection with military and government and corporations? You know, and the influence they have, the energy, the oil people, and you see all the money that's every. Do you know, in a war, every penny of a war is paid for by the taxpayers. Taxpayers pay for it. Everything, the whole of Iraq, all the weapons, the soldiers, the infrastructure, the oil rigs, everything is all paid for by taxpayers. Can you imagine that? Like, we're paid for the war. That means that the war is the economy. You know, and privatization, the monarchy, the church, the BBC, TV is God, Sky TV, the government, you know, gas, oil, electricity, food, cars. It's all on that axis, on that one pivot, everything. Do you get that? That it's all connected. All riches, all wealth has all been created from war. From the business of war. And that's why they maintain the grief. And they're right. They're bloody right. We should be in grief.